Be Me, 40, Executive Director of Nonprofit Organization in Portland, Oregon. Salary $95,000. Small for a director, but nonprofit budgets are tight. Organization is called Women Forward Alliance. We advocate for women's issues. Focus on economic empowerment, leadership development, mentorship programs. Annual budget is $2.8 million, mix of grants, donations, and program fees. Been running this org for 4 years. Built it from $800,000 budget to almost $3 million. Staff of 12, all women. Intentionally, we're creating women-centered space. Board of directors is 9 people, 7 women, 2 men, progressive activists mostly. They meet quarterly, rubber stamp my decisions, trust my leadership. I have complete operational control, budget authority, program decisions. Board chair is Susan, 58, retired social worker, nice but hands-off. She believes in empowering leadership, which means she doesn't question me. Perfect. I have the freedom to really make impact, to do things my way. Organization does good work, real programs that help women. Mentorship program matches 200 women with career mentors annually. Small business grants, $5,000 to $10,000 to women entrepreneurs. Leadership training, workshops on negotiation, confidence, networking. This is meaningful work. This is what I got into nonprofit sector for. But the funding is frustrating, constantly chasing grants, writing proposals. Foundation grants have so many restrictions, so much reporting. Funds must be used for direct services only. Administrative costs cannot exceed 15% of grant total. Please provide quarterly reports with specific metrics. It's exhausting. I'm spending 40% of my time on grant compliance. Well, I should be focused on vision, on growth, on transformation. Year 3, I start getting creative with the budget, stretching definitions. We receive $400,000 grant from major foundation for leadership development. Grant says funds should be used for training programs and participant support. I interpret that broadly, very broadly. Decide to host a women's leadership empowerment retreat. Weekend getaway at luxury resort in Sedona, Arizona. 30 participants, all women from our programs, plus staff. Cost is $45,000 total. Includes rooms, meals, spa services, workshops. Spa services aren't traditionally leadership development, but I justify it as self-care is essential for women's leadership. We can't pour from an empty cup. Women need to recharge. Book the retreat. It's amazing, 5-star resort, incredible views. We do some workshops, vision boarding, goal setting, empowerment circles. But honestly, it's mostly spa treatments, wine by the pool, relaxation. Post photos on Instagram, investing in our leaders' well-being. Participants love it. They're grateful. They feel valued and empowered. I feel good about it. This is what women's empowerment should look like. Foundation never questions it. They see photos. They see happy participants. They approve the grant report. Ask us to apply for renewal. This works. I could do more of this. This is the model. Year 4, I expand the retreat program significantly. Secure $600,000 in grants specifically for leadership development programs. Plan 4 retreats throughout the year, each one more luxurious. Napa Valley Wine Country, $52,000 for 25 participants. Big Sur Coastal Resort, $48,000 for 30 participants. Asheville Mountain Spa, $43,000 for 28 participants. Miami Beach Wellness Retreat, $55,000 for 35 participants. Total retreat spending, $198,000 out of the $600,000 leadership grant. That's 33% of the grant on what are essentially vacations. But I'm not calling them vacations. I'm calling them intensive leadership immersions. Transformative empowerment experiences and holistic development retreats. The language sounds professional, sounds like legitimate programming. Each retreat has some workshops, some speakers, some structured content. Maybe 6 hours of actual programming across a 3-day weekend. Rest is spa treatments, Pool time, wine tastings, gourmet meals. Participants love it. They rave about it. Best experience of their lives. This retreat changed my perspective on what's possible for me. I feel so empowered and ready to lead after this experience. I'm taking photos, posting on social media, using it for marketing. Women Forward Alliance invests in holistic leadership development. Donors see it. They want to be part of it. They increase their giving. Our budget grows to $3.2 million. I give myself a raise to $115,000. Justify it as competitive compensation for executive leadership. Board approves it. They're thrilled with the organization's growth. But I'm also getting personally comfortable with this lifestyle. I attend every retreat as facilitator and director, meaning I get the same luxury accommodations, same spa treatments, same gourmet meals, same wine, same everything. Charge it all to the organization. It's a legitimate business expense. I'm the director. I need to be present at our programs. It's my job. Start expanding my interpretation of business expenses even further. Need new wardrobe for speaking engagements. That's professional development. $8,000 at Nordstrom. Charge to executive presence and representation. Need better laptop and tech for remote work. That's operational necessity. $4,000 at Apple Store for new MacBook, iPad, AirPods, all business. Need to attend conferences to network and fundraise. Conferences in San Diego, Austin, Denver, all in nice hotels. First-class flights because I'm director and I deserve comfort. $15,000 in conference travel over 6 months. I'm living well, really well, better than I ever have on nonprofit salary. And I justify every expense. It's all for the organization's benefit. If I'm stressed and burnt out, I can't lead effectively. If I don't look professional, donors won't take us seriously. If I'm not networking at conferences, we won't get grants. It all makes sense in my head. It's all defensible, all necessary. Year 5, I take it to another level entirely. Secure $1. $2 million grant from New Foundation, biggest grant we've ever received. It's for Comprehensive Women's Economic Empowerment Initiative. Very broad mandate. Lots of flexibility in how funds can be used. I immediately plan the most ambitious retreat yet. 2 weeks in Costa Rica, international leadership immersion. Rent entire boutique hotel, 45 participants plus staff. Yoga, surfing lessons, meditation, farm-to-table meals, sustainability workshops. Cost is $125,000 for 2 weeks, almost 10% of the entire grant. But the grant language is broad enough to justify it. Economic empowerment includes wellness and holistic development. International perspective enhances leadership capacity. Book the trip. We go. It's incredible, life-changing for participants. I'm surfing every morning, doing yoga on the beach, eating amazing food. We do maybe 10 hours of actual workshops over 2 weeks. Rest is vacation, luxury vacation, all charged to the grant. Post hundreds of photos. Transformative international leadership experience. Nobody questions it. Everyone sees empowered women having breakthroughs. What they don't see is that it's 90% vacation paid for with grant money. Return from Costa Rica. Riding high, feeling untouchable. Organization is growing. Budget is $3.8 million now. Largest we've ever been. I give myself another raise, $135,000. Still low for director of $4 million organization. But I supplement it with all the perks, the travel, the retreats, the expenses. Effective compensation is probably $200,000 plus when you include everything. My personal credit cards are getting paid by the organization. Business expenses that include nice dinners, shopping, entertainment. As long as I can create plausible justification, I charge it. Donor cultivation dinner at expensive steakhouse for $100 bill. Professional development materials at bookstore, $300 on various books. Team building at wine bar with staff, $250. It all adds up. I'm spending $3,000 to $5,000 monthly on my personal card. Submitting expense reports, Getting reimbursed, no one questions it. Board is hands-off. Finance committee meets once per quarter. They review high-level budget. Don't dig into specific expenses. As long as revenue is growing and programs are running, they're happy. But then month 8 of year 5, something shifts. One of the foundations that gave us a large grant request site visit. They want to see our programs in action, meet participants, tour facilities. This is normal. Foundations do this. It's part of their due diligence. But I'm nervous. They might ask detailed questions about spending. Might want to see exactly how their grant dollars were allocated. Program officer arrives. Woman named Michelle, 35, very thorough. She wants to see documentation, receipts, participant rosters. Can you show me specifically how the $400,000 leadership grant was spent? Pull up the budget breakdown. Show her the categories. $198,000 on leadership retreats, $150,000 on program staff, $52,000 on materials. She's looking at the retreat line item, doing math in her head. $198,000 on retreats. How many participants total across all retreats? 118 participants across 4 retreats. She's writing notes. That's $1,677 per participant per retreat. What does that include? Where were these retreats held? Starting to sweat now. Various locations included lodging, meals, programming. What locations specifically? Sedona, Napa Valley, Big Sur, Asheville, all focused on wellness and empowerment. Her expression changes, skeptical now. These are luxury resort destinations. How much of the retreat time was structured programming versus leisure? Fuck, she's asking the right questions, the uncomfortable questions. We integrate wellness into leadership development. It's holistic. Can you provide me with the retreat agendas and receipts? Provide the agendas. They're thin, maybe 2 to 3 hours of programming per day. She's flipping through them, seeing spa appointments, wine tastings. This looks more like vacation than professional development. It's intensive, transformative experience. Participants reported significant growth. She's not buying it. I can see it in her face. I need copies of all receipts for the retreats, itemized. Provide the receipts. My heart is pounding. She's going through them line by line. $200 spa massage for each participant. $150 wine tasting. $80 gourmet dinners. These are not typical professional development expenses. Our approach is holistic. We believe self-care is leadership development. She closes the folder. I need to discuss this with my team. We have concerns about whether these expenses align with grant restrictions. She leaves. I know this is bad, really bad. 2 weeks later, receive letter from the foundation. After review of expenditures, we believe grant funds may have been misused. We are requesting full financial audit and potential return of funds. They're clawing back the grant. They want their money back. Panic immediately. Call emergency board meeting. Present the foundation's letter. Board is shocked. What do they mean misused? What do we do wrong? Try to minimize it. They have concerns about retreat expenses. They think we spent too much on luxury accommodations. Board member asks, how much did we spend on retreats? About $198,000 from their $400,000 grant. That's half the grant on retreats. What were the costs? Have to admit it, luxury resort accommodations, spa services, gourmet meals. Board is silent, processing, realizing the problem. Susan, the board chair, speaks carefully. Did the grant allow for those expenses? Were they approved? The grant was for leadership development. I interpreted that broadly. Show me the grant agreement. Show me what was approved. Pull up the grant agreement. Read the restrictions. Funds shall be used for direct participant training and education. Administrative and indirect costs shall not exceed 15%. Lodging and food must be reasonable and necessary for program delivery. Reading it out loud, I can hear how I violated every restriction. $200 massages are not reasonable and necessary. Luxury resort accommodations are not reasonable and necessary. Wine tastings are not direct participant training. Board member who's an attorney speaks up. This is serious. If they audit us and find other misused funds, we could lose nonprofit status. It's not just this grant. We need to review all spending. Oh fuck, if they audit everything, they'll find all of it. All the personal expenses, all the luxury travel, all the upgrades. Emergency audit is ordered. Board hires external forensic accountant. I try to object. This seems extreme. It's one foundation's interpretation. We have fiduciary duty to ensure all funds are used appropriately. Forensic accountant arrives 2 weeks later, asks for everything. Bank statements, credit card statements, receipts, expense reports. Every transaction from the past 3 years, complete financial history. I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked. It's all going to come out. Accountant works for 6 weeks. Board receives preliminary report. Emergency board meeting, full board plus attorney plus accountant. Accountant presents findings, 45-page report, devastating. Pattern of inappropriate expenditures across multiple grant periods. $340,000 in retreat expenses that don't meet grant compliance standards. $85,000 in executive travel that appears excessive and personal. $47,000 in expense reimbursements with questionable business purpose. She's going through examples. Each one is damning. $8,000 Nordstrom shopping charged as professional development. $15,000 conference travel with first-class flights and luxury hotels. $12,000 in donor cultivation dinners with no donors present. $6,000 at spa charged as executive wellness and stress management. Board members are in shock. Some are crying. Susan looks betrayed. You spent grant money on personal shopping. It was for professional wardrobe. I need to represent the organization. You spent $8,000 at Nordstrom in 1 month on professional wardrobe. Can't defend it. Sounds indefensible when said out loud. Attorney takes over. This constitutes fraud and embezzlement. Misappropriation of nonprofit funds for personal benefit. Every grant that was misused can demand clawback. An IRS can revoke our 501c3 status. He lists the potential consequences. Each one is worse than the last. Criminal charges for fraud, personal liability for repayment, dissolution of the organization, loss of all assets. Board members can be held personally liable if they knew. Did the board know about these expenditures? Everyone looks at me. I'm the one who controlled everything. The board approved budgets, but not specific expenditures. Attorney. So you had unilateral spending authority? Yes, board delegated operational decisions to me as executive director, and you used that authority to spend grant funds on personal luxuries. When he says it like that, it sounds criminal because it is. Board votes unanimously to terminate me immediately. No severance, terminated for cause, escorted out that afternoon. Within 48 hours, 3 major foundations demand audits of their grants. Within a week, total grant clawback demands reach $1.2 million. Organization doesn't have $1. $2 million. Total assets are $400,000. Can't repay the grants, can't continue operations. Board votes to dissolve the organization. It's over. All programs shut down, all staff laid off, all participants abandoned. 12 employees lose their jobs. 200 mentorship relationships end. Women who were getting small business grants are cut off. All because I spent the money on luxury retreats and personal expenses. Foundation files complaint with IRS, triggers federal investigation. IRS audits the organization and me personally. They find $470,000 in personal benefit from nonprofit funds over 4 years. That's a felony. That's embezzlement. That's prison time. Federal prosecutor files charges. I'm looking at 5 to 10 years. Hire criminal defense attorney. Costs $75,000 that I don't have. Have to liquidate everything. Sell my condo, sell my car. Still can't afford adequate defense. Attorney is public defender quality. Prosecutor offers plea deal. Plead guilty to 1-count fraud. 2 years prison, 5 years probation for $170,000 restitution. Alternative is trial where I face 8 counts and 10-year maximum. Take the plea. What choice do I have? Evidence is overwhelming. Sentenced to 24 months federal prison. Report in 60 days. Those 60 days are hell. Media coverage is brutal. Nonprofit director embezzled nearly $500,000 for spa retreats. Women's organization dissolves after fraud by executive director. My face is everywhere. I'm the face of nonprofit corruption. Comments are vicious from all sides. No one defends me. She stole from women to pamper herself. This is why people don't trust nonprofits. Even other feminists pile on. She set back the movement. Report to federal prison in West Virginia. Minimum security. Still prison, still locked up, still surrounded by other criminals. Most of them are here for drug offenses or financial crimes like me. Serve 20 months, get out on good behavior. 40 years old when I went in, 42 when I get out. World has moved on. Organization is gone. Career is destroyed. Nonprofit sector won't touch me. I'm poison. I'm a cautionary tale. Can't work in any fiduciary capacity. Can't handle money. Can't work with vulnerable populations. Background check flags me. End up working retail at Target, $17 per hour, stocking shelves. Used to run a $4 million organization. Used to have staff and authority. Now I'm asking customers if they found everything okay. Still owe $470,000 in restitution, paying $200 per month. At this rate, I'll be paying until I'm 70 years old. Will never own property again. Garnishment follows me forever. 1 year after prison. See article about women's nonprofits in Portland. New organization formed to fill gap left by Women Forward Alliance. Run by competent people who follow the rules. They're doing the work we used to do, mentorship, grants, training, but legitimately, transparently, with proper oversight. They mention our dissolution as example of why governance matters. When one person has unchecked authority, bad things happen. I'm the example. I'm the cautionary tale. 2 years after prison, 44 years old, still at Target. Made assistant manager, $42,000 better, but still nowhere near director level. Still paying restitution. Still have criminal record. Still see photos on my old Instagram of the retreats. Smiling women at spa. Wine by pool. Yoga on beach. All paid for with money meant to help struggling women. Money from foundations that trusted us to do good work. And I spent on luxury vacations and personal shopping. 3 years later, randomly run into Susan, former board chair. She's at Target shopping, recognizes me in my red vest. Awkward eye contact. She approaches carefully. Hi, how are you doing? Okay, working here, getting by. She's uncomfortable, guilty. I'm sorry, I didn't see what was happening. You trusted me. I betrayed that trust. I should have asked more questions. Should have reviewed expenses. We talked for a few minutes. She's kind, more than I deserve. The new organization is doing good work if that helps. I know. I saw the article. I'm glad they're helping people. We lost so much momentum, so many relationships because of what happened. She's right. The damage extended beyond just money. 200 mentorships ended abruptly. Women lost support systems. Small business grantees lost funding midstream. Staff lost jobs. Donors lost trust. Community lost resource. All because I couldn't resist the luxury, couldn't stay within bounds. She leaves, I go back to stocking shelves. Think about the Costa Rica retreat, 2 weeks of paradise. Surfing every morning, yoga on the beach, gourmet meals. All paid for with grant money meant for economic empowerment. Irony is thick. I was economically empowering myself, while pretending it was for the participants. They benefited, sure, they had great experiences, but $125,000 for 2 weeks? That's $2,777 per participant. Could have run job training for 60 women for a year with that money. Could have given 12 women $10,000 small business grants. Could have done actual economic empowerment instead of luxury vacation. But I chose the retreat, chose the spa, chose the indulgence, and justified it with language about holistic development, about self-care and empowerment and transformation. when really it was just stealing dressed up in nonprofit jargon. 4 years after prison, 46 years old, still at Target. Still paying restitution. Still have 20-plus years of payments left. Still Google myself sometimes. Articles are still there. Feminist nonprofit director sentenced for embezzlement. $470,000 in fraud. How one director destroyed women's organization. That's my legacy. That's what I'm known for. Not for the good work we did before. Not for the women we helped. Just for the fraud, the retreats, the embezzlement. For stealing from women while claiming to empower them. That's the ultimate betrayal, the deepest hypocrisy. And I did it. I chose it. I justified it every step. Now I'm here, 46, stocking shelves, paying restitution. Former nonprofit director who destroyed an organization. Who stole nearly $500,000 for spa retreats. Who went to prison and lost everything. Because I thought I deserved luxury. Because I thought I could justify anything. Because I thought grant restrictions didn't apply to me. And I was wrong, catastrophically wrong. Wrong in a way that ended an organization. Wrong in a way that hurt hundreds of women. Wrong in a way that landed me in prison. And wrong in a way that destroyed my life. That's what I think about. Every day at Target, scanning items. Former executive director turned retail worker. Who learned that grant fraud has consequences. That embezzlement is still embezzlement. Even when you call empowerment. Even when you justify it with wellness. Even when participants enjoy the experience. It's still fraud. And fraud sends you to prison and ruins your life.